reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network. Hello everyone, and welcome to LOTRO Reporter's Update 9 preview. Layanor and I had a chance to sit down with Aaron Rowan Campbell and Hannah Full, both producers on Lord of the Rings Online, as well as our friendly driver Leo, who does in-house PR for Turbine. We took a look at a few different things, including the updated Bree, as well as a couple of the three-man instances, Iorbar's Peak, if I pronounced that correctly, and of course the seat of the Great Goblin. So check it out. It's a long video, but I think we got to see a lot of fun stuff in-game.
Chris and Layanor, welcome to the newly updated Bree. The Bree Town Council has decided that the facilities here were simply not sufficient. So they've gone through to do a couple things. First off, brought in much more of the citizenry, so the town feels much more alive and bustling. You'll see children playing in the street, craftsmen going about their business. There is a stage set outside the Prancing Pony. You'll also notice that many of the buildings have lost a sort of whitewashed new appeal and have a bit of weathering now. So they look much more realistic and I think fit the ambiance of Tolkien's story much better. The pony is also larger. It has a stable inside. And you'll find many other changes throughout town as well as you roam around.
Would you like to wander around?
Yeah, let's take a look around.
Okay. I think our first stop should probably be down to Beggar's Alley.
Almost feels like a brand new town, like the first time coming to Bree again.
Yeah, no kidding.
Then we're having the desired impact already. Good. There's our lovely boar fountain, of course. We're on Bull Roar, so you may see a number of other players around you as well. So head down here to the town hall, and then we'll take a right. Got your Bree guards walking the streets and standing at their posts.
Now, I was just stopping to look. It's just a simple thing, I'm sure, but now puddles in the road as well, reflecting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, did I just always miss that, or is that a new touch as well? Little things like that.
I think we've polished up some of it. It's certainly the kind of effect that you'll get when you're out. We're going over to the left here a bit.
I don't know. What, am I lost?
I think we have to one more road over.
All right.
Go down to the right. It's a big city, you know.
Okay, sure.
And of course the dwarves have to keep all those taller folks out. The gate to the right there. So we've taken some of those water effects that you'll see in newer areas, such as Rohan, for example, and extended them out here.
Mm-hmm.
So down past the jails. Always thought the jails should have a fence. Get some of those Arnorian ruins tucked in here to the side. Am I lost?
Yeah, now we're in for the hunter.
There's, I don't know the name.
You know, we are getting a great tour of Bree and checking out the often unvisited corners.
See, well, like we've changed the roads around too, so.
Yeah, well, I noticed that new little road we just took there was something new. I'm sure the hunters who have to go to their trainers will much appreciate that little shortcut. And again, like up here to the right, this is all brand new, right? This is not.
Yeah, we have some brand new areas. You'll notice the laundry hanging from clotheslines, for example. And before the end of beta, we hope to have that swinging in the breeze as well.
Ooh, free clothes. You're gonna drown in that puddle there, little hobbit.
Yeah.
So there you get a sense of it. The children playing on the back alleys here.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, we don't have to get them to
and-
beat us with sticks or anything, do we?
No, there's no chasing with sticks here. So no new quests, no new content here per se, but certainly a facelift for the whole area.
So now, why spend the resources? Like, what was the driving force like this? I know every man hour, everything is all portioned out because you've got so much content that you do want to cover. What was the driving thought behind? You know what? Let's revamp Bree. Let's take a look at it and make it more expansive.
Well, we still have designers here who are driven by passion, and we have one world builder in specific who said, I really have some ideas for what I can do to change this, to make it better. And he took that up to the rest of the team and sold it. I think there are a number of things that come out based on not just sort of the realities of a business or the realities of running a game, but based on the designers who just want to make a really great product and a really fun game to be in.
Oh, cool. So it started out as someone's pet idea, project sort of thing, and then they advocated it until it was in the game.
Advocated it, and design came on board, and the art team came on board. Everybody threw in their time and their weekends and their evenings and made it happen.
Awesome. Well, it looks great.
Yeah, it does.
Thank you. All right, on to our instances. Now, there's a few different pieces of content coming out with Update 9. One that will be very familiar to you guys is Dol Guldur. All those 3-man instances, 6-man instances in the raid from back in Mirkwood times, those have all been scaled to level 85. We've gone into the second half of Moria and updated that, given it new storyline, evened out some of the progression there, evened out some of the characters, and then done things that we have tricks for now, like phasing, right? The characters can travel with you to these different quest hubs, so you can see the progress of the story as you advance through the area. So you're not running back 50 miles to see Balan every 5 minutes.
Right.
It's always my favorite part of Moria, absolutely. And then, in addition, we're bringing out the first half of the Rohan instance cluster. So with this update, we have 3-man instances. These are actually set in the time when Gandalf is still back here in Bree, and progresses up to about the time the Fellowship's in Rivendell, and starts. We open it up for players at level 20, even though they extend the whole way to level 85. So we want this to be a broad swath of people able to experience this story. The story that we're telling is really the story of sort of the other forces of Middle-earth. Right? We spent a lot of time in Rohan dealing with the oncoming forces of Mordor and the orcs and oppression of Saruman. But there's a whole story as well to the north of uprisings in Mirkwood, evil in the Misty Mountains, invasion from the east. And we're going to be able to cap this whole instance cluster next year with 6-man instance and a raid at the Battle of Dale. We're going to take you to Dale and the Lonely Mountain.
Wow.
So starting it off now, we're kicking off with 3 instances. We can show 2 of those today, and we can start with the seat of the Great Goblin. We're going back to Goblin Town.
Awesome. So what was this a long thought out decision to make some content to come out about this time that was going to be themed with The Hobbit and have some sort of link with the movie coming out?
Well, a few things. It certainly helps with The Hobbit's coming out, and I think that makes a natural link for us, although, all of our stories are set in the War of the Ring, so set in our timeline, exactly 83 years after the events of The Hobbit. The other piece here is that it is less, what can I say? It was challenging to find some of these major events in Rohan itself prior to those events are happening, right? Those events such as the Battle of Helm's Deep, which is still coming. So this is a story that we don't think actually has been told much. And putting the two together, it made really good sense for our designers to say, let's go here, let's follow this thread, let's take some players back to their favorite locations and open it up, and then someplace that people have been telling us for a long time they want to visit.
Cool. So, go ahead, Leo.
I've crashed.
I noticed
so
that.
I'm going to get back in and rejoin.
Sure. Well, I've got a question anyway. With the content, where's the limits of your license for the Tolkien content that you're allowed? Like, how far into the expanded stuff can you go? We've got some Hobbit-y stuff, but this isn't exactly. We're not doing session play as Bilbo.
If it's in the three books that make up the Lord of the Ring or their appendices, then we have full license to it, right?
So even if it's an offhand mention, like the stuff that we're going into now, it's more, it's peripheral. It's not stuff that happens as part of the story. It's the appendices and stuff, right? That this stuff is in.
Sure.
That's good.
So and we always consult with Tolkien Enterprises and such as well to make sure that we're putting together the right pieces here.
Yeah.
I'm going to cheat us through some of this, just because we put it on tier 2 so we can see more of so we can play the challenges, but we don't really have the gear to deal with it properly. And also, we want to get through them.
Is that gear or skill level right now?
I think we can call it gear.
I'll call it time.
My weapons aren't
time to deal with it
identified.
properly. So
Mando healer.
certainly with tier 2, the challenge is ramped up significantly. You're much more likely to want both a healer and durable tanky type of character. And some of these, we're going to throw a lot at you. The goblins in Goblin Town act like they're small coordinated parties, right? They have specialized roles, they have specialized buffs and debuffs. Very commonly, they have a healer, a mender. They're going to apply effects that boost each other. So you're going to need to figure out pretty quickly which one you want to take down first, or what order. Use those cross control skills, use those abilities to manage them. And at level 20, there's some mechanics here that'll be really new for lower level players.
And do you see it as sort of a way to start to train players as they level through the game for some of the more raid-like encounters at the max level?
Sure, I think it's a really nice way for players early on to go somewhere besides the Great Barrows, for example.
Yeah.
And to dig into these new kind of things, and then when you take it up to level 85 and take it on to tier 2 and the challenge mode and so on, then we're really going to throw it at you. And certainly we're taking the straight path through, but there are many side corridors. There's an entirely separate deed in here for finding goblin art. There are goblin murals painted off in the corners behind some of the, groups of monsters that might not necessarily be in your primary path. So you can discover these different pieces of artwork. We'll look at one down below in a bit. Hannah's actually still laughing because the designer who put the space together won't tell her where they are. She insists she needs to discover them for herself.
I like that.
I asked really nicely, and he still wouldn't tell me.
So how happy are you with sort of the last few years you've changed to this tiered style for a lot of the instance content where players can come in and then get the challenge stuff, the more difficult content. How happy are you with the way that system's going now?
I'm very happy with that system's going. The option for players to come in and experience the story and enjoy the space, or to really push the difficulty level and challenge themselves, seems to work really well for our players who enjoy group content. Because people have different preferences and different needs.
And is there anything new that you're trying out with this particular set of instances that, if it works out well, you think you're going to bring to instance design more generally?
Definitely. So, two things that are new for this space and have come pretty much directly out of Rohan, but 4 instances now. The first is remote looting. So you might have noticed as we're playing through, you haven't seen any creatures laying on the ground glowing for you to click yet. That's because all of the loot is being sucked up into your additional box, and you should get a little, basically, alert for overflow as your bags fill up, right? So you're loading it all now, and you don't need to stop and slow down the pace for it. The other piece is when you've defeated a boss and you've looted a chest, everyone in the group is actually going to make their own rolls. They're going to have their own pull loot. And that loot will be specific to your class. So no longer are you going to worry about, someone else accidentally picking up the wrong piece, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to, have your own gear. Majority of it is bind on equipped, so you can still trade it if you choose. But you'll have a chance for a rare, sort of orange item, legendary item on top of that, that is specific to your class and is down to you. And welcome to the Goblin Trash Pit. So the story of this place, 83 years ago, Gandalf slew the Great Goblin. Now a new Great Goblin has arisen. So there have been bitter power struggles and challenges within Goblin society for a long time, but now they're finally organized under a new leader, and Gandalf is very concerned that they could become a rising force and help to sway the balance of the War of the Ring. So
is
you
that
are
AoE?
here to...
Oh, go ahead.
You are here to scout out that goblin, understand the danger, and put a stop to it if you can. What you found is that the goblins love to live in trash, and you've been dumped in their trash pit, and they're throwing trash on your head.
That's what I was going to say. Is that trash they're dumping on us?
That is trash they're dumping on you. I don't know if you noticed all these sort of putrid corpses and other bits of refuse as you wander through the hall. Clearly one of those places that makes you want to take a shower after you've played through it. And now you are facing, you just faced a group of emaciated goblins who've been living off trash for years, banished to the lower levels, and now you're facing a really almost kind of skeletal troll who is the goblin's trash compactor. They decided to go green. They said, well, put a troll down there, he'll eat most of that stuff, right? And he's not getting really too healthy from it. But being a troll, he's still able to, break down the walls on you. Now, originally, when we designed this space, the first troll that came in here was, he was big and armored and massive, looked incredibly strong, and we all kind of looked at it and said, wait, isn't he supposed to have been fisting off a diet of garbage for years now? Trapped in this bin. Let's make him look really, weak and sickly. So did our best to make him appropriately troll-like, but give the flavor of the space.
Yeah.
Don't step in his disease cloud; it wouldn't be good for you.
Adding more and more filth. We saw once and we were like, oh, it seems pretty dirty, but it could be more dirty. And then, the artist went in and added more corpses and more garbage and more filth. We went through and we're like, oh, this is better, but I feel like it could be more gross. And we went through and the artist put more trash, and then we went through and we were like, well, yeah, this actually feels really gross to be inside, so good work.
So that was the loophole. You just opened the small chest. You should all have it either in a little bag as an alert down the right side or in your inventory.
All right.
If you want to follow Leo through here, he's actually taking you down a side passage that leads to one of the murals we were talking about. That was the Goblin Ark. Now, as we've seen in Moria, Goblin Ark can be used to designate territory. They can tell you stories of their greatest warriors. Or in this case, they can use it to mark the home of a giant, scary monster with gnashy teeth.
That's awesome.
Considering that
Very
the goblins very rarely saw a golem, if at all, it's not surprising they thought he was 12 feet tall. And while Gollum isn't home right now, we certainly thought we could put his cave in here.
Wow.
Stop by, leave him a note, let him know we stopped by, but he was not home.
Leave him a fish.
Exactly. Leave him a fish and a small pewter ring or something.
Yeah.
Get in the boat. Let's go.
All right. So now back through. Head to the upper levels.
Hey Chris, this is the cloak that I've been trying to track down from I think PC Gamer magazine.
Oh, cool.
When you have equipped now?
Yeah, the Isildur cloak. I've been looking for this magazine for the last 2 years to get the code for it.
Huh.
And here it is.
I will have screenshots for you. You can print them
I'm
off.
looking like 3.
You can just put a little sticky note and put it on your monitor every time you're running around the game.
I'm gonna Photoshop it onto my warden.
Well, send me a note later. We'll see what we can do.
Now, was that the cloak that we had equipped for you?
It was in my bag.
Oh,
It's just a
Probably one of
cosmetic
the-
one.
yeah.
Promo items in the bag, yeah.
So how has your guardian been enjoying Rohan? Rowan?
It's going pretty well so far. Actually, I've been spending more time kind of going back through Dunland right now.
Yeah.
And it just reminds me all the more how much I love the music in Rohan. So.
That I've got a playlist on my phone and I listen to it many days driving to work. Chance did such a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really did.
Yeah, not in any way saying it, that the music of that from the in-house team. I remember I chatted with them before that soundtrack article. I mean, that stuff is good. It's just there's that little extra oomph when it's orchestrated.
Absolutely. It's that element of live performance.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
So you should have a coil of rope on the floor there you can click on.
There we go. I was waiting for the port request, and I'm standing.
Do that, you know. Let's give everyone your guardian acorn here. So I'm not feeling it. Do you have a weapon equipped, Mr. Warden?
I don't have any weapons.
Oh,
So I'm just shield bashing. Pow, pow.
Nice. It's so effective, though. You should be killing them so quickly.
Apologies.
Is there anything in your inventory at all? Sometimes there's a little, it's like a package that opens up into many weapons.
No. Except for a letter that says Rohan waits.
All right. Well, we'll proceed with where we are right now.
All right. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Weapons are overrated anyway. A real warrior, a real fighter can fight barehanded.
That's right. All you need is a shield.
That new Warden Fist spec we're working on.
I can melt butter with my scream, so I'm alright.
It is overkill. All right, well, we're almost up to the Great Goblin now. We have to, take out all his little worshipping toadies, lick spittle.
Oops.
Right.
Pull everything.
As with most instances, Chris pulls the wrong thing. Yeah. Darn tab targeting.
That's right. In the tab key.
That's right. That's...
So it wouldn't be a proper development on a little speech. You might find pretty quickly that the Great Goblin really can't take any damage until his guards have been dispatched here.
After our last video from the Rohan preview, we had a few friendly and rather adamant hunters giving me some tips about how to properly play a hunter.
Sure.
And it's always interesting.
Oh, our players are definitely passionate. There's no question about that.
That's true.
So you might have noticed that the first Great Goblin here seemed to suffer from a lack of popularity, and that no one was coming to help him. So someone else has stepped forward to claim the throne, and Leo is spawning lick spittles far too quickly.
Not quickly enough.
Jam this guy down too fast, you will be overwhelmed.
That disease cloud also, I think, should have killed all of us by now.
Yes, if you don't separate and you spread that disease cloud, you will also be overwhelmed.
Just keep hopping from one person to another.
So recognize the purposes of this demo, we're not playing very realistically. But
No, yeah.
people have taken the challenge and beaten this on Bullroar, so I'm not so concerned about that.
Yeah.
But wait, there's another contender for the throne.
But there are no goblins left, so who could possibly fight for him? Uh-oh.
Ah, he's got dogs.
And is this the same thing where, at certain ticks in his health, he'll summon a dog or a couple of dogs? So you can't take him down too quick.
As you work down, he'll be not only is he gaining additional damage buffs, he's also summoning additional pets. So you'll want to balance that out. Give him too much time, and he will becoming overwhelmingly powerful.
I was just letting the disease start spreading. Yeah, if you're stand too close together, it just keeps bouncing back and forth.
We did bring it back to Bree with us, so I was like, and the designer was horrified.
Oh, that would be fun. That would be like before Wrath of the Lich King came out, and they had the zombie invasions in WoW, and people would bring it back to the towns and infect everyone.
We've seen this too many times in MMOs. We'll not let the plague happen again. Never again.
All of a sudden, we've got the Walking Dead Bree edition.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
So we should have time now to head on to the Misty Mountains, to Iorbar's Peak. The story of this space is that the Stone Giants have actually ventured forth. We really haven't seen them before in LOTRO. Oh, you're not leader anymore.
Yes, I'm not leader anymore because I crashed.
Oh, here. I think I've got lead.
All right. Would you set it up for tier 2, please?
I'm just going to transfer leadership over to Leo.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
So the Stone Giants have ventured forth and taken the egg of one of the great eagles, intending to have it for dinner. So your task is to venture into the mountains, challenge the Stone Giants and their Dour Hand allies, and recover the egg. But as we know, we haven't really seen Stone Giants up to this point. In fact, even in Tolkien's work where they're mentioned, they're really kind of an off-camera character. So you have the boulders crashing down and the great weather and the storms and such, and they're playing games with the giant rocks, but they're sort of a aloof presence. With this in mind, we've both added falling boulders as part of this space, and also these really massive stony giants. So they look very different than the other giants in the game. These Dour Hands are content to chat while you stand around them.
And how much of a challenge is it now to be, so far into the game? We're 5 years, right? And to still come up with new and interesting ways to keep players occupied in instant spaces. I mean, that's got to be a challenge, right?
It is. I think it's finding the stories is not the challenge, right? There are many stories in Middle-earth. I think the challenge for the designers is finding new ways to play and new ways to update some of those sort of classic modes in a game like this, right? Especially in group play where you have new dynamics. So, we both look to do things that are in some ways slightly more complex. So you'll find different types of dwarves here, for example, that have their own strengths and weaknesses. You need to identify them and understand them. New enemy types, such as the stone giants we talked about. But then we take new things into effect here just in a smaller way. Like we've updated, the physics here so that when you run through the brush, it actually sways around you, right? We have new weather effects going on. Little things to kind of bring that space together. And then massive boulders that will crash into your head.
I had to get hit. I wanted to see what happened.
Of course. Something else that we don't talk about too much. One of the things that can happen in a game like this is that your enemies all start to look the same. So the dwarves here, they each have a type, and each of the type has certain sort of characteristics. They wear some kind of armor, they might have an eye patch, or they you get a sense of what they do by looking at them, but they also have random characteristics. So if you have two, Dowerham Menders standing next to each other, for example, they might have different hairstyles, they might have different clothing. We're going to make small visual distinctions while still keeping sort of the essence of that character.
Right, and you started doing that with Isengard, if I remember right, or was it Rohan?
Yes, we started doing that with NPCs. We started doing that with a lot of the enemies there, and we've continued that.
Yeah. I'm the hunter. It's my job to pull stuff before everybody's ready, right?
That's
remember-
right.
So we didn't really get to see it because it died too fast. There was a shadow caster in that group.
Sorry, I'll let
So
him.
that's the first. You'll be seeing this more and more as clouds envelop you of different noxious gases. Some of which make the dwarves stronger, some of which make you substantially weaker. Yeah, we are a little short on time, so we'll push through this so you can see it. And then especially in the Misty Mountains, we want to continue that feeling of it being sort of exposed and vertical and cold. There you go. So the Shadowcasters can be quite dangerous, especially when their effects stack up.
And then you've got the boulders coming in at you too.
Yep, because we have health just overhead, telling us to go away.
Yeah, Health is very hungry and very annoyed that we want to interrupt his dinner.
Which I think we can all respect.
Still waiting for one of those to knock you off the side of the cliff here. So we have a few different creatures you're going to encounter on the way up here. Certainly the dwarves and their trained cats, and later on trained bears. We also have giant mammoths and mountain goats, and then the stone giants themselves. Coming up on our first boss here, the Dowerhand leader. He has some delusions of grandeur. He believes he can actually get the giants to do what he wants.
They want to play their game.
But they really just want to play their game, yes. Now we're on tier 2, so he's going to be, throwing basically kegs of black powder at you. He's going to be bringing in additional minions, and as you move along, the giants decide they want to change their game around as well.
Oh, so it's Smash the Hobbit now, huh? so different playing as a hobbit because I'm used to my elf. Everybody seems so
Sure.
bigger, so much bigger.
Fair enough. It's all about perspective.
All right, you did it.
So
Nice.
sometimes as well, the stone giants will join in the fight.
Well, sometimes I think when we move through with a few less admin commands, go less quickly,
Right.
stone giants have to start running across the field there as well and bumping into you.
Oh,
Gotcha. So I stopped you from taking that bit. I apologize.
So it can get quite hectic out there with the, clouds coming up and the
Mhm.
boulders flying and the stone giants running.
and the powder kegs.
And the powder kegs.
That's good. Keep people busy.
I've always thought that when the bear falls, it should hit you and do damage. Because I always have the natural reaction to just get out of the way of it.
Sure.
That thing too.
So, any thoughts on? I know when we mentioned the skirmish soldier and landscape, there was some internal discussion. I know there wasn't any decisions or anything. It was just discussions about the possibility of bringing skirmish soldiers into instance space. Has that discussion continued, or have you come to a decision? Or
I don't think that's especially likely right now. We've certainly got them out there. Players are using them, but a lot of our focus right now is around bringing, that content up to make it accessible across levels. So, for example, taking older content such as Dogoldor, bringing it up to 85, starting with instances like this, making them available the whole way through from 20 through to 85. Which actually is pretty challenging when you have to think about the different sets of skills, not just experience, but the skills that are available to players at different levels.
yeah, you can't plan on a player having a skill that they get at level 40 for crowd control, or or that a group of players get at level 40 or anything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then making sure we have great items for players at all those levels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's certainly one of the problems that you can find in MMO is that you build, 5 years of great content and experiences, and then it gets a bit stale or it's stuck in a certain band. So we're, charging forward to build new things, but also to keep the older things relevant, such as our changes to Fornost, such as looking at places like Moria. Who knows what we'll do next year? We'll see.
So this is a Defense of the Prancing Pony mechanic in here too, with the powder kegs coming in, huh?
Yes, you need to defend the egg.
That
And
is
the
one
challenge
big
mode
dude.
for this is challenge mode for this is to complete the battle without the egg taking any damage.
Yeah, he did this earlier as well, because I adminned him down, and then he got caught in this this green aura.
Yep.
So that's why he doesn't respond very well to being artificially slaughtered.
no.
Ah, this guy snuck up the back.
Leo let
Oh.
his head get damaged.
Yep. Not just
Leo.
significantly damaged.
Well, let's say we all let the egg get damaged.
We can say that all you want, but we know the truth.
We all get omelets now, though.
I know what I want.
That's it, Aaron. You need to find. I think we need to find new employment for Leo.
Well, as he says, bring him on as a runekeeper. He'll be fine. But,
Yeah, Leo is good at many things, but playing as a guardian is not.
Definitely not one of them.
That's good. The only one who's comfortable with their class then is Layanor, and he doesn't even have a weapon.
He's doing excellently.
but we were, a little handicapped, but I think we did all right.
Yeah, we did all right.
Yeah, the eagle doesn't seem too mad at us.
You're greatly damaged by offspring.
Could have been so much worse.
There's a few cracks on there. Do you have it changing as it gets damaged, or is that always
Yeah.
the? Oh, nice. And Layanor's trying to break
You'll
it.
see it visibly as well.
It's pretty sturdy.
You know, I think I saw somebody the other day while the battle was still going on jump on it, and I think it did damage it.
Oh.
So,
It's also it has I can health damage it.
health
I-
damage it. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
There's a lot of things that can hurt
there's
that
few
egg. I mean,
things
it is an
that-
egg. It's an egg. They are sort of the
also
classic.
yeah. Also, a thing that these rewards are not the final rewards.
Yeah.
They're just the loot tables have been randomly populated.
Yes, we're still in beta. Not too long ago, defeating the Great Goblin was giving you 10 million marks.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I don't think you'd have many
Lie.
players complaining with that. Just let you know.
All right, and that brings us to the end of Iorbar's Peak.
Nice. Now you said you were showing us these two, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Now-
we can't show you the.
The third one is not available right now,
Okay.
which is Webs of the Scuttlebells. And that's, as you might guess, in Mirkwood. It's very centered around large spiders and poison creatures and rescuing elves from web cocoons.
Okay. We've got a few questions from listeners, if that's okay, and you can let us know whether or
we've got
not
a
you
couple
can
of minutes.
answer them or not, because we didn't send these to you in advance.
Okay.
Will mounted combat be incorporated into any 6-man, 12-man, 3-man instance content in the future?
So we're certainly thinking about it. We don't have plans for that right now. There's nothing specifically for mounted combat instances right now.
Okay. Layanor, you want to grab the next one? Are you there, Layanor?
Yep.
Okay.
Why were the Mirkwood skirmishes, Mirkwood instances scaled before the Rift?
That's a darn good question. In some ways, I have to talk to the designers about it, but certainly the Rift is a more challenging space in terms of some of the mechanics.
Okay.
So with the auto looting that we were talking about before, is the new loot roll system with individualized chests and stuff, is that being transferred over to the skirmishes as well, or is that just for instances for now?
So right now that's only for the new Rohan instances and the Dol Guldur scaled instances. It's not available in any other spaces.
Okay. We're able to gather resources right now from our horses in Rohan. Is that going to
Yes.
be added into all the rest of the world too?
That's a very good question. So I know that with this update, we are adding remote looting and open tapping across the world. So as those kind of systems are extended out and we get feedback on them, I expect we'll continue to extend them.
Okay. Hitbolt, which we have referred to on our show now, it's officially named Hot
Sure.
Bolt, because we
Bolt?
what's that?
It's Tooth Bolt. Swedish.
See, and that's because we were mispronouncing it, and then somebody was talking about the hot pink hot pants that you can get in game. So we had the hot pink hot pants from Hot Bolt. So it worked out well.
I gotcha. All right.
The hot pink hot pants with the shirtless dwarves we thought would be a very good look for people. So
There you go.
we
All
expect that to see that in the next festival. Thank you. Will it get okay, now pronounce it for me again so that we can get this right.
Tooth Bolt.
Hute Bolt. Hute Bolt. Is it going to get an auction house or a bank at any time soon?
Anytime soon, no. Great suggestions, though.
And I'll ask one more here from Harry Hall. We talked about.
Oh, I know Harry well.
Yeah, you know Harry well. Will the personal resources node ever get phasing text so that they can be looted by more than one person, so they're individualized?
Sure. Right now, a lot of that is about sort of resource consumption and how fast these things are coming into the world. So, generally speaking about scarcity, right, and making sure they're valuable.
Yeah.
But it's another great idea. I mean, we're extending a lot of things in the game to be more shared and more social, so that's a great contender.
Okay. And Layanor.
With the dailies that were closed off, when are those going to be opened back up again? Will it be in this patch?
We expect them to reopen with Update 9, yes.
Cool.
Okay.
That's cool. Some of us.
And we had to resolve a couple of issues in there, both on the exploit side and some performance issues as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and is that carrying over to the what were the closed ones that we talked about on the last show, Layanor? The the landscape instances. What were they called? Oh, now I have to look it up because I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think he knows what ones we're talking about, though.
Sure. You're talking about the defensive instances primarily.
Yeah.
The public instances that were available.
Yeah, the public.
And then
that's
we've got one additional that we closed.
Okay,
also.
perfect. And this one comes from Malith. Can the new move to target system be added to skirmish soldiers who find walls more interesting than blazing fiery demons?
Oh, those lovely skirmish soldiers. Skirmish soldiers and captain pets and heralds, and all of our lovely lore masters assistants. So we'll continue to look at ways to refine how they travel.
Okay. I think that's all for our listener ones.
Okay.
I'm really interested, though. I think the question that everybody is wondering is Ent Play. When is that going to happen? Is it tomorrow or next week?
It's actually next week.
Hey, look at that.
So coming very soon. Ent Play, yeah. No, this is Chris's pet feature.
Everybody in the background is wondering what's going on. I don't know. I can imagine all of you in the room.
I can actually remember now.
So we had some video get out recently of another landscape region, and a player shipped over a lovely ant there. Still, I mean, it's one of those wonderful things that I think you'll see closer to Flooded Isengard when that comes out.
All right, I guess.
And actually, yes, I do have plans for places like Flooded Isengard. They're just not in the near term, right? They're all in our roadmap. We have I think a really actually amazing kind of story roadmap for the game that extends out for years.
Awesome. And are we still on track pretty much for in the next couple of weeks? We're looking at Update 9, and February-ish, we're looking for the second half of the instance cluster. Is that still looking favorable?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Awesome.
That is our goal. That's what we're shooting for.
Awesome. and which one of the instances speaks to you the most, Aaron? Are you most looking forward to getting into once this goes into the live game?
Oh, goodness. Well, we've gotten the best feedback so far on Iorbar's Peak on the Stone Giant space. But personally, I really like the Goblin Town.
Yeah.
I think it's a nice balance of sort of challenging and familiar, with the Goblin Town space being something but the Goblins being totally new and actually much tougher.
And out of the without giving anything away that you're not allowed to give away yet, out of the stuff that's coming out in the second half of the instance cluster, what are you most looking forward to?
Insight.
Well, let's see. How early do Dane and Brand die? Pretty early. Oh, sorry, spoiler. So no, the raid has been characterized a few different ways. When we announced it, we talked about it being 3 spaces or 3 instances, but really it's one extended story. So I think of it like one raid with multiple wings, and it tells the story of the Battle of Dale. So everything from standing before the gates of Dale itself to sort of the last stand below the mountain is just fantastic. I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to massive Easterling war machines.
Nice. And I think before we go, I think we want to pass along a little bit of a compliment from Bill. You remember my co-host Bill from LOTRO Reporter. Yep. He's taken a hiatus from the show. That's why Layanor is joining us, and Carrie as well. And Bill just wanted to pass along his amazingly positive thoughts about your beard, Rowan, about Aaron. He has a little bit of a man crush on your beard, and he just wanted us to pass that along, and just how epic your beard is. So just thought we'd let you know.
Thank you. Well, I greatly appreciate my beard. If he was at Gamescom this year, he would have seen one of my coworkers whose beard just dwarfs mine. It's an exponential sort of ratio, But thank you so much.
I hear you. It's like a good balance between gentlemanly and also like hard fisherman. I'm pretty jealous of his
I
beard,
really
so
like his beard. When I started seeing him on the Sapiens videos, I was like, "Geez, that beard is awesome."
You could picture Aaron with a fisherman's cap and a pipe, right?
Exactly. If I had a beard like that,
my wife wouldn't recognize me without it. That's for sure.
Speaking of, Sabian has to shave off his beard soon for charity.
That's right. I remember that. I think that's where the whole conversation started from.
Yeah, it's coming off soon. Very excited.
He's mentioned things to me about videotape and a straight razor, so I don't know where this is going.
As long as Leo doesn't have the straight razor, because as we saw today, he's not. All right. Well, thanks so much. I mean, that was a great preview of the content. It was great to check out the new instances, the new updated Bree, and some of the things that are coming up in game. Thanks again, Aaron, Hannah, and Leo, for taking us on this fantastic tour. We really appreciated it, and we can't wait to see everyone in game.